Oh, it'll be good. How's your time? You got 10, 15 minutes there? Are you all right?
Dude, I've got 2 hours blocked out for you guys. I think it was inspiring, just some of the words that you gave me. And I just think it's super cool what you do. And like, listen, I did a little homework, man. You're just an all around good guy. Like there's not enough good people on this planet that, you see somebody in need, you see somebody needs some good advice. You're like, hey, I've been there. I've seen that. And it's just good to see. So I'm happy to help. And that's kind of how I signed on to do this.
Yeah.
The Food Doctors is all about, spreading the joy of wellness and just trying to feel better about yourself. And there's a path, there's a way to do it. It just sometimes it's hard to get there because you just don't have the knowledge, you just don't have the information, and then just trying to figure out, our daily lives are busy. You do so many other concerns. I got to pay the rent, I got to do this, I got to make money, my wife's yelling at me about this, my kids are doing that, the dog just pooped on the floor. There's so many distractions. So when it comes to like your own needs and what your body needs to be this like perfect machine, it becomes kind of an afterthought. So, we created the Food Doctors to make that easier and try to build a system that would, give people the right tools in a short amount of time. And, kind of allow them that kind of self-discovery to like figure out how to do it themselves. And also kind of create that motivation, that aha moment that is kind of inspiring. Like, oh, okay, I get it. That wasn't too bad. What else can I discover through this like healthy journey? And then once you kind of just get in this routine, you feel really good.
Yeah.
And it becomes addictive. And you want to feel like that all the time. And you're like, okay. And then when you start putting things in your body and eating things that, make you not feel that way. Yeah. You're just like, no, I don't like that. No, that's not good. I'm sluggish. I'm feeling bloated or I can't sleep or I'm just uncomfortable. It pushes on my back, I mean, I'm lactose intolerant myself. I can tell when I have some dairy and, how my body reacts to different things.
I'm the same.
And when you're eating clean and eating healthy, it's just completely different. And it's not as hard as people think. And that's why, with Plexus, I signed on to, create these meals and these recipes that, I'll be honest, they're not the easiest recipes for some, and some are very simple. You follow the directions, but you're going to get out of it what you put in it. You really got to, think about it, follow the directions, and kind of think and teach yourself kind of what the food's doing. And then completely mind-blowing as far as the self-discovery. And the recipes were created to do exactly that. You start learning how to do different things with vegetables and how to create different flavors. And then all of a sudden it's really good, but you're eating healthy. And that's the point.
Right on. That's awesome. I'm just going to give, just let me, if I lose, I won't lose you guys. One of my team captains is having problems signing in here. So just, we'll start in a couple minutes here. I just want to make sure she gets in here. Did you turn your, chef? Oh, there we go. Doreen.
Yes, sir.
Can you send the link? Verlee's having troubles. Can you copy and paste the link? She's having troubles getting in. I don't want to turn this off, and we'll start when we see Verlee come in there, and I'll.
I got you. This is what I facilitate leadership training and all of that. This is what I do for a living. This is my world, so that's easy for me, Mike.
I love that vanity, by the way.
It's my grandmother's.
Yeah, I kind of noticed those things. I'm a sucker for old world furniture. It's a hobby of mine to like tinker and build with wood. So I noticed that. I'm like, oh, that's really nice. I like that. That's the mirror.
Thank you, Christopher.
It's silly, but I love it.
Chef, he's chef to us. He's chef.
Fact.
Oh, sorry, chef.
There we go. Leah's in. That's good. Okay, so we'll give her one more minute here, and then we'll start here with everybody. I see all the captains coming on and people that are joining here, so that's good.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, my journey started back in July with Plexus. And I mean, at one time, I mean, I played college hockey. I run a hockey academy up here in Winnipeg. And well, JT, right? I mean, Jonathan Taves was one of my boys coming through. Yeah. And how many cups did you guys win?
Oh, you know what? Enough for me. I was in town the last cup we won, and gotta say, it's a little crazy in Chicago when one of our teams does really good. When the Cubbies did it.
Yeah.
Let's just say my truck didn't look as good as it did the night before. You know, people were going nuts. But Chicago sports is insane, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm gonna get started here with everything. Guys, this is honor. Christopher Schlattman, is that how I say the last name?
You know what? You are the only person that's ever nailed it right out of the gun. Every grade school teacher in my entire life has butchered it. That was nice.
There you go. So from our Plexus family and our ONETEAM, I'll just give you a little history with our team here. We actually all attended in Wilcox, Saskatchewan, the Elite Hockey Academy in Canada. And from that Elite Hockey Academy, which is about 20 hours north of you, came the John Cooper graduate with us. That's the head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So he was our graduate with us in 1985. Barry Trotz, who won the cup as a coach with the Washington Capitals. He's now at the Islanders. He was a Notre Dame Hound. I mean, Vincent LeCavalier, Mitch Marner. There's over two. Rod Brindamore's the head coach now with Carolina. He was a Notre Dame Hound. So this team that you're giving your time to tonight so graciously, 6 of our 7 team captains, we've known each other since we were 14, 15 years old, and we're all in our early 50s. A couple of our team captains are a little younger. They're 9 years after us, but we're we're jocks. That's what we
awesome.
All rugby players, hockey players, football players at elite levels. And you know what? We all got the kind of middle age, and you know, we got a lot of NHL guys too that involved with Plexus and on our Renew You program, and they're very private. So I mean, we respect that privacy, but it seems like kind of right across the board, all of us were carrying that extra 50, 60 pounds, you know, coming, you know, you're an elite athlete, you push hard all the time, and it becomes a job for a lot of people. All of a sudden you get the middle age, you're sluggish, you got the bloat going and everything. You know how to get out of your funk. And Plexus came into my life in July. And I mean, I've supplemented all my life. And if I would have said yes, that there was no way that there was products, natural products that could do what they do. I mean, I started at 249, my journey. I mean, I had arthritis, I had gout, I had eczema, 20 years on my right knee. On my that eczema, you know what, after about 10 weeks, I came out of the shower and that eczema, it was gone. And I couldn't believe it. I wasn't putting nothing on it. And slowly my weight started going down. I mean, I was on the Renew Essential program. Now I'm 193 pounds and lean and mean and the whole 9 yards. And I'm back at Rimrat and rollerblading in Chaparral Park there in Scottsdale all the time when I'm down there. And just quickly for our team, Chris Chef, I'll let him talk about this, but I work out at Mountainside Fitness down there. And it's an amazing gym that Timmy Patton, it's a whole chain of them down there in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area, the beautiful, beautiful gyms. And Christopher, why don't you explain what you do for Timmy down there?
So we teamed up with Mountainside Fitness, which is the second largest gym in Arizona, to basically do what we do every day. We started as an obesity medicine kind of weight loss facility where my partner is a obesity medicine doctor. So people that, you know, eventually if you just don't know what to do, you eventually go see your doctor. He will tell you They will put you on a plan. They will put you on some kind of supplement, some kind of shakes. Shake Super Bar is basically what a physician has to offer you. You have 4 flavors. They're not good. You have very little options for texture, for taste. So, but as a doctor, it saw results. I mean, that, and when you get that level of education, you know what works and what doesn't work as long as they follow the directions. So we had this model, or Paul Sarmento had this model that worked and saw results, but people were not happy. You know, as soon as they finished their plan, they lost the weight, they finally got to taste real food again, they blew up. They started eating everything they wanted to because they missed it. You know, food is a very is a very indulging thing that for our senses. We love the taste, the smell, the textures. You know, I mean, humans themselves were very indulgent. You know, we love the feel. So that was the issue. You know, we had this system that worked very well, but we had no fun doing it, and it took the joy out of life. Sure, you got the results and you got exactly what you want, but how fun was it getting there? It was completely miserable. So the idea was to create a system that did exactly that based on real food. So you really just got to work backwards. You say, okay, these are my calorie goals. This is what I got to do to get there. And, you know, I started working backwards with Mountainside Fitness. They saw an amazing thing. It's like, holy crap, this is real food for the same results of something for weight loss. For a lot of people that, you know, half the people in the gym, they're not bodybuilders. They're not, you know, career fitness enthusiasts. They're just average people that just want to feel better. But, you know, how do we get there without sacrificing all the things that we love? So we created a system, and we created a menu that not only showed you is if you cut these few things out and based your diet mostly on vegetables and protein, you can have an award-winning just variety of flavor and lose weight. You can lose 5 pounds a week, and you can have more energy. You can have all these things. So Mountainside Fitness, being one of the biggest gyms in town, as a new company, we were a year in before we caught their eye. And now we are the sole provider for one of the largest gyms in town. And, you know, people are losing weight. They like what they eat. For me, it's not rocket science, because as a chef, like I spent, you know, 20 some years with Michelin chefs and Michelin restaurants trying to figure out, okay, how do we make food taste good? Okay, it's technique. Okay, how do we cook a carrot? Okay, you don't blanch it in water, you don't steam it, you don't destroy it, you don't hammer fist it. You know, what can we do to build flavors? What can we put it with that's simple? We got about 4 ingredients a dish, 5 ingredients a dish. How can we teach people through a quick recipe that gives them other skills, that allows them to basically evolve and teach themselves, you know, with good vegetable cookery, with how to properly cook a protein and get those textures and flavors that you wouldn't know you're eating healthy. But I'm going to show you how easy it can be. You know, economics in high school or grade school is probably the one class I think everybody slept through. But for me, it was eye-opening. I just love food. I love to eat. All the textures and flavors and the different things I could do. I'm like, man, that just sounds good. You know, if I can just sit there and just whip up an apple pie when I feel like it, that sounds really nice.
Can I ask you a question, Chef?
Yeah.
What's your vision? I mean, I'm a businessman. What's your vision in 3 to 5 years with the food doctors? Where do you see food doctors in the marketplace? You know, not just in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, but I mean globally. Like, where do you see yourselves going?
So with what I've seen, every meal prep. Now, I've got a lot of friends that do meal prep, and I've seen a lot of companies within the States and globally that sell some kind of box. What you get is mostly filler. It's a protein. It's cheap ingredients. They're just not very good. And I can't honestly believe in my heart that if you were to microwave a frozen meal, that you were like, damn, that's good. I just, it's not, it's, you're lying to yourself. And that's kind of my philosophy as a chef. And as long as I've done this, like, okay, I see my wife makes fun of me because I poke fun at other chefs or things that people have done. And I say, I see what you were trying to do. I see where you were going, but I also see where you missed the mark because you cheated. You took some shortcuts. You could have done this. You could have done that. If you'd have changed your model a little bit differently, you probably could have charged an extra 50 cents for that and made it right. But you took a shortcut. For the food doctors, we firmly believe that every meal prep and every box service that's out there where you can buy a meal and get it delivered to your house, they've taken shortcuts in order to make a quick buck. But at the end of the day, they sacrificed something that was culinary perfect. And that's where I just can't swallow it. I'm like, you know what you did. Because there's good chefs that are running those teams, that are good people that have the knowledge, that have really got amazing credentials, but they know it. And that's my problem. And that's where the food doctors, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. I think it's a good price point, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you can't beat it. And that makes me sleep. Yeah. That makes me feel good about people that are eating healthy, because the best part about it, of my team, was that we have a physician on staff. We have a obesity medicine doctor that 90%, or actually now that we've grown, probably 50% of the people that buy our meals are patients of obesity medicine doctors, because they had a goal. They wanted to lose weight. They wanted to have fun doing it. They wanted to eat real food and feel confident about what they were doing, and see results. And the amazing thing about these doctors is they study, they document, they have the data. They weigh you with these crazy machines. They take their notes. They scale it on a level that I've never seen, with, you know, terms and words like, okay, these sugars are off. This is off. This is off. And then I start seeing these charts and I'm like, wow, that is incredible what food does and how your body processes that information. And what happens when you get yourself on a routine, your body changes 110%. You start to not be hungry. You're satisfied. Your energy levels rise. Your sugars are burning properly. You feel invigorated from the fuel you put in your body. And then it has room and time to do other things. And that's when things really start to happen, because then you get addicted. Then you're like, I like the way I feel, so I'm going to make sure this is happening nonstop because I like this. So with all this positive data that we were seeing from these patients, they're like, yes, I'm taking less medicine. I don't take as much insulin for my diabetes. I'm almost diabetic free. And the medicine is food. Huh. Interesting. Interesting it was, because all you've been doing is eating the proper amount of vegetables and the right amount of protein. That's it. And we've been cutting the carbs. We have enough. There's enough carbs in a carrot to subsidize every loaf of bread you could ever want. It's a mental thing. My partner, Dr. Paul is what I call him. He always says the biggest battle in obesity medicine is actually marketing. because companies spend so much money marketing that you need something, marketing that this is awesome, this is amazing. It's overload, it's sensory overload with as much things that are thrown in your face. You walk down an aisle, you see something on your phone, what's on the shelves in the grocery store. They're put there for a reason. They're meant to hook you, to get you. It's delicious. It's full of sugar. It's all these things that you don't need. There's enough sugar in a carrot to subsidize me for the entire day. I love an Oreo. It's crunchy and delicious, and I love to dip it in milk, but I just don't feel good after I've had about 9, because that's how many we're going to have. And
you know what I love about you, Chef? I mean, I see your genuine passion for food, and our Plexus family, I'm telling you, we're so lucky to have you on board, because I mean, I see it. I see how passionate you are, and I love it. It's absolutely amazing. And what people, you know, part of our Plexus family, what's in store with you on board with the food doctors? We're going to be blown away. We're absolutely going to be blown away. I can't wait. Can't wait.
I'm hoping, you know, I wrote a lot of recipes for the team to kind of jumpstart this program to launch people into the new year. And you know what? Every time you make a new recipe, like the first time, it's never going to be what you want it to be, like right out of the gate. I mean, I'm an old school chef. I make something once, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, that's what I did wrong. Okay, wait a minute. No, that's good. That's good. It's self-discovery. But listen, if you go from start to finish and try to make every recipe that I've given, you're going to be a pretty damn good cook by the time you get to the end of it. Because what I also have done is I've put together cooking tips and things that go along with the recipes that will give you good technique, show you things that you've probably done wrong in the past, and just give you good balance when you're in the kitchen, you know, and all these things are going to give you tools to do something else. You know, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. I did that for my brother at a young age. I'm like, bro, I'll teach you how to cook. You know what I mean? Yeah. Women love food. I'm going to say that. That's how I met my wife. Yeah, straight up. You know, it's a very nurturing thing to learn how to take care of people and feed people, and to take care of yourself and what you put in your body. For me is, you know, I've learned over the years is just extremely important. You know, you have, you know, the benefits of what happens around a dinner table, which is super cool. You have laughter, friends telling stories, you know, sharing that bond, that connection. It all happens around the dinner table. For me, there's no fun. There's no devices at the dinner table. Those aren't allowed. And you just create memories. If you can bring that old school nature back to the dinner table, but at the same time share this kind of fun wellness discovery of what it's like to cook good food, share it with your family, and give everybody that kind of wellness to feel good after they've eaten it. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. And I love the fact that that's what food does for people. And I've been cooking for, you know, over 20 some years, and, you know, sitting in the background, watching my guests eat and listening to the laughter and the stories that they tell around the dinner table. That's why I do it. You know, it's a really fun place to be.
We run our program, and we call ourselves, you know, the leaders of our team, we call ourselves captain from the sport. You know, we've created our one team, you know, based upon that whole sport concept where, you know, your team captains, I'm the head coach, and that whole team atmosphere, sport atmosphere. And again, with all of that, we just find that whole team camaraderie it goes back for us, the leaders of this team for 40 years. And I think that whole concept of sport, and now bringing that into this avenue where we're together again. And Plexus has brought, I haven't talked to some of my classmates in 30 years. And now we're getting ready to leap into the brand new year. We all agree where 2020 should be. That should be right in the rear view mirror where it belongs. I know from our business, going forward with Plexus, all the gurus, the experts are saying that this is going to be the gold and the biggest year ever in the history of MLM worldwide, global worldwide. And what I'd like to do is my team captains here, I think there's 3 or 4 of them here. They want to ask you one question each, and they come from all different walks of life. It's absolutely awesome. And I have one more question for you, but not yet. I'm going to let my team captains ask you a couple of questions, and then I'm going to ask you a question in regards to the Renew, Reset, Restart Challenge firing up January 4th. So team captain Verlee, she went to school with me. We call her our mountain gal. She has a all-season resort that they own up in Alberta, 3 hours south of Calgary, almost on the American border. Snowmobile, whole 9 yards. She runs a couple of different companies. I mean, you want to talk about Crocodile Dundee female style? This is from Notre Dame, and her name is Verlee. Verlee, you got a question for Chef?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Super. Okay. Thank you so much for being a part of the Plexus health, hope, happiness, wellness. We're really excited to have you on board because this is supplements, and we do want to learn how to feed ourselves properly and use food as well, right? Not contaminate ourselves with it like we seem to have been doing. But I live on the Continental Divide on the Alberta BC border, as do a lot of my team. And I also have a team in Saskatchewan. And we're from small towns and small areas, and we have one grocery store here in the pass. Yeah. And the small town I'm from, where the show Corner Gas was filmed, it doesn't have really a grocery store at all there anymore. So we get kind of limited ingredients, and that's always the thing I find hard about recipes is there's some wacky way out there ingredient that we can't find anywhere. And so you end up going, I'm not bothering with that. And I also work away from any structure. So I'm with a coal exploration company, and we're out in the middle of the backcountry with the drill rig, and we're working 16-hour days, and I've got no microwave, no barbecue, nothing to keep my meal hot. And I really get sick of grabbing a handful of lettuce and throwing some salad dressing on there and eating it all wilted. So any suggestions to mix that up a little bit would be great.
I already know your question. And you know what? Like I'm getting kind of choked up thinking about it, but like this is like a chef's dream, like problem to have, because it's like, okay, what's in the box? It's like, what do you got? Okay, this is what we're going to do. It's like, it's complete MacGyver chef style. All right. Honestly, this is what I want to do. And this is what I want to offer you. I'm going to share my email and share my personal Facebook stuff. Anytime you're in a situation like this and you're like, Chef, this is what I got. What should we have for dinner? I will answer those questions, and I will answer you right out of the gate. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Hold on. No matter what I'm doing, I'll be like, hold on. I'm talking with my friend in Canada. We have to make dinner real quick, and we're worried about wolves. So we'll sort that out. Curing is a great thing. So one of the recipes that I've shared with the team is a deep cured salmon. But the curing process is one thing that, listen, no matter where you are, cold, hot, you're using things that are cooking meat, and it's old school techniques that are using salt and sugar to preserve things, changing flavors. We're removing moisture and at the same time preserving other things and changing textures. So depending on the ingredients you have, there are things to do. You might have a little camp stove, you might not, but what we are stuck with is, time, how much heat we can apply, and kind of what we're doing. So simple things as, how we can properly, handle kale, or the different vegetables that you do have at your disposal, that if you do have one day out of the week, we can process a few fun things. And I can give you, if you give me 30 minutes, I can show you how to manipulate some vegetables that will last for the next week and a half, using vegetables as seasoning, as flavors, is how I built these recipes to apply flavor and umami and different things. So like you said, you're tired of just lettuce and some dressing, and that's what you get. So with these recipes, you're going to learn how to take vegetables, simple things, and manipulate them to give you huge flavor. Curing, I think, is a really good thing for you, whether it's meats, whether it's fish, adding those umami flavors to something where, everything is cold. So the only other option is eating them in their raw state. So how can we change the raw state and then create texture? How can we change the raw state of a vegetable or protein by either removing moisture or adding heat? And if we can't add heat, we're going to remove moisture, and we're going to create different levels of texture doing that. So this sounds like a super fun challenge.
That I have never had anybody suggest that before, so I'm excited. Thank you.
Listen, 110%. If you literally give me a market basket and be like, Chef, this is what we're working with today, what should we do? We'll do it. You and I can do it together. 110%. That's my commitment to you. And then you will take that information and you will apply that to the next thing. And we'll learn how to cook together in like the worst circumstances where it's like, this is all I got. Okay. That's not a problem. We're going to have a good dinner. No big deal. What do we got? We got salt. We got sugar. I got a tiny little camp stove with about 5 more minutes of butane in it. Okay. No problem. We'll figure this out. But check out the curing process for the beet cured salmon when the recipes come out. That is a great recipe that you can apply to a lot of different things, including proteins. They can add a lot of flavor, a lot of umami into some of the things that you're doing. Even with like kale, most people hate kale, but if you squeeze the kale in your hands and kind of break it up and massage it, you will soften the texture and make it much more palatable, and it will last for a while. Let's see, what's another fun thing? Cold noodle dishes are going to be right up your alley. If you send me an address, I'll send you some shirataki noodles. Shirataki noodles are something that I swear by. It is literally 4 carbs per 4 ounces of noodles. It is made of tofu and mushrooms. When you're trying to eat low carb and healthy, pasta is one thing that gets thrown out the window. So what I found is a shirataki noodle, which is made again of tofu and mushrooms, is an amazing substitute that you can eat cold or you can eat hot. Using simple ingredients that are rich in umami like hoisin, soy, oyster, and things like that are very high protein, also are huge flavor bombs. Ginger, sliced thin. Let's see what else. Applying the curing technique with fish. So if you just cure some fish ahead of time, it's not going to go bad. We've removed and preserved it. So you add that with noodles and a little bit and have a couple sauces on hand. These sauces are not going to go bad. The Chinese are actually masters at this. In order to make really good umami sauces, they would bury fish with water in containers and bury it in the ground for months on end. That's actually how soy sauce was invented. They would add salt, and then all of a sudden, a couple months later, they have this amazing sauce that's like, whoa, flavor bomb, crazy. But that's kind of what they started with. Sometimes in order to produce something great, you got to let it go bad first. It's not necessarily, we've been taught that that's a bad thing. It's not. It's a step in the process in order to get to something greater. So, I mean, these recipes are out there, and I've shared a bunch of them. But if you were to, I'll share my email, and I'm real good at it because my cooks and, you know, the rest of my team, you know, that's how we live these days, is by email. So if you share what's in your basket, I'll help you get dinner.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
110%. It was a pleasure meeting you.
We're going to move on to one of our other captains. And this guy just started with us, Plexus, about 10 days ago. And I'm not going to mention where he's starting right now, but he's a realtor, a real estate agent, and he calls himself now the Healthy Realtor. And he's just absolutely on fire right now, sharing with all his friends. And he's such a likable guy. Regina, Saskatchewan, again, I mean, it's from me, Winnipeg, I'm 7 hours north of Minneapolis, while Regina is 5 hours west of me. So we're still 20 hours away from Scottsdale, Phoenix. And his name is Devin Crawford. Devin, you got a question for Chef?
I do. How you doing, Chef?
Devin, doing good, brother. How's your day?
Good. Rocking some Chicago for you.
Yeah, I love it. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't remember the game because I had too many.
Hey, you know what? I think everybody in Chicago was just absolutely insane on that day. The skyscrapers, every skyscraper, they turn their lights out and they kind of draw out the Blackhawks like insignia. And, I mean, everybody just goes nuts. I mean, Chicago's a huge sports town, and when we do well, we let everybody know we're happy about it.
I was happy. Just a couple of questions. I'm a big guy. I've always been trying to eat healthy. I gym all the time and do my thing. I've tried keto and all sorts of things. What are your take on with this style of diet, what I'm doing right now? Something to do with, you know, carb levels and carb intakes. You said you can get as much carb from carrots as you can from plate of rice. What should we be eating properly on this?
So the one gripe I have about a lot of meal preps, or a lot of, you know, what people say are healthy eating with the starches, is they're empty calorie starches. You know, when you're eating a bowl of rice and you're eating these heavy carb items, the problem is there's almost no nutrients in there, and they're extremely heavy in the carbs. You can get as many carbs in vegetables that you would more than need in your daily amount. At the same time, you're getting all these other amazing nutrients. So the way I built the Food Doctors is that you get 10 carbs a meal. It's hard because there's carbs in everything. It cuts out a lot of things that people like, a lot of comfort foods, and that's where it gets tough. You have to mentally kind of break that stimulus to do it. Rocky, sorry, my dog got a new squeaker toy for Christmas, and he's really enjoying it. So carbs for us are the enemy. Now, your brain needs carbs because that's a positive thing, but you get plenty. I mean, 40 to 50 carbs a day is pretty much all you need to run your tank like a top. Anything other than that is just storing things, and you're not going to be burning the sugars and burning the proper things. Rocky!
Right on.
He listens. He's a husky. So I would base the keto and all those things. Every diet works a little differently, but at the end of the day, from a physician standpoint, from a chef standpoint, what I've seen so far in the data that we've collected, it honestly speaks for itself. The biggest problem why a lot of people don't have a high vegetable-based diet is because they don't know what to do with the vegetables that keep them engaged. They're bored. You can't just sit there and snack on a carrot. What are you going to do with the carrot to make it interesting, to make it delicious, to make it fun to eat? So in order to do that, we have to kind of take a week out and just cut the carbs out of our diet, trust that vegetables alone are going to provide all the nutrients and vegetables that we need, and have a high protein diet. You can have as much protein as you want as long as it's lean. Now, your body needs healthy fats, but I mean, there's 136 calories in half an ounce of olive oil. Do we need that? No, we don't. I love to season other things with vegetables. For example, in some of the recipes, I make vegetable purees, whether that's parsnip, which is high in sugars, natural sugars that are good for you. Carrots are also good in carbs, high in sugars. They have a great umami flavor, whether you roast them or don't. Brussels sprouts, very great steak-like texture. If you char kale, it almost tastes like steak. Using these kind of things, whether it's charring or roasting or braising or blanching and kind of boiling, allows you to get these tastes and textures that you need to kind of feel good about what you're eating, but your body's going to run like a top. The carbs and the starches and the fat and the heavy fats, the keto, I'll eat a pound of bacon and feel great. It's your body will then, you start to feel great because your body makes an adjustment, but it's lacking in a lot of other things, which in turn is not going to do what it's supposed to do. You know, we are, as humans, are built to eat vegetables. Our intestines, our organs, everything we're not really built to eat meat, but we like it. Now, protein is good, and we've over time kind of developed, you know, an easier system, and we're okay with it. You know, vegetarians and vegans actually have the cleanest, most dialed systems on the planet, but let's just be frank. I love
vegans.
I love a good burger. I do. I love a good steak every now and then. And it's not bad. And I'm not going to put that in a category that shuns it, because it's delicious. It is good for you, as long as we kind of watch the cholesterol and the unhealthy fat intake. Like, I'll take an avocado over, you know, all the fat on a steak any day of the week. And, you know, there are good fats. You know, there are decent fats in some olive oil, but you have to limit that. So honestly, a vegetable-based diet that has high protein intake, chicken, pork, fish, all those great proteins that we love, cooked with either vegetable stock, chicken stock, braised, seared, roasted. I mean, we're just going lean. That's it. You know, I don't peel the skin off my chicken, but at the same time, I don't fry it. Now, frying is actually kind of like one of those things, you know, well, is fried chicken bad? Technically, it's not, because the process of frying, the scientific version of frying food, moisture is being pushed out of your chicken. All that moisture is being pushed out. That's the bubbles. Now, when things are being pushed out, things aren't necessarily going back in. So when people say, you know, if I fry something, is that just completely bad? No, it's not. Now, if you do it at a low temperature and just let it absorb and soak in, yes, that's bad, because there's nothing that science can stop the absorption of all that fat going into your product. But if you fry it at the proper temperature, if you think about food as a kind of a science, like, what's the proper way to cook this and get the best results? You know, 350 degrees or 400 degrees will properly crisp and steam and fry the outside, because that's technically what you're doing when you're frying. You're steaming something, because air is being removed, and in that gap between the water molecules and the air molecules, you're creating this buffer that is actually superheating it, and that's where you get your texture. And then if you pull it out, you shake it off, you damp it, and you have this perfect thing, that's actually decently healthy. It was a technique on how you cooked it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. So these recipes that I've done for Plexus are going to help give you guys and give everybody good technique as far as how to cook something that's going to give you a little more insight into, eating healthy. So to answer your question in a nutshell, low carb, high protein, more vegetables are going to change you 110%. The way I work it at the Food Doctors is every meal, depending on your activity level. And I say that because I also tutor Olympic athletes and supply meal plans for them as well. Obviously, their machines are running twice as much as other people. So we need to give them more calories so their machine can run. If you want to lose weight, if you're in the gym, max 3 days a week, but you want to see 5 pounds a week, I would keep it between 300 and 425 calories to 450 calories a week. Most of your carbs not exceeding 15 to 20 per meal, and being mostly vegetable and protein based. Those simple instructions right there. The problem is going to just keep you, what's going to keep you interested in the meal and looking forward to the next one and excited for the next one. And that's where, if you have a question, concern, email me. I'll be like, Chris, these carrots taste like crap. What can we do? Like, okay, that's easy. Let's make these carrots taste good, so we're feeling good about it. So high protein, at least 35 to 40 grams of protein. I like to stick with about 10 to 15 grams of carbs. You can go as much as 20, but I wouldn't go any more than that. And that's it.
I haven't eaten yet, so I'll kick the rice out for tonight.
I would kick the rice, brother. There's just not enough other stuff in it, man. It's an empty nutrient. Not to mention what I hate about a lot of other meal prep companies or people, it's a cheap ingredient. Yeah, it's a filler. You throw it in there, it's like, we need a space here for something. Let's put something in there. And it's just unnecessary. Now, if you look at the complete Chinese culture, I think every single one of those guys are skinny. And that's all they eat is rice. But that's all they eat is rice.
So, Chef, can Coach Mike ask another question here? What is going to what's a day going to look like with the Renew Restart Challenge? Like, what do you got in plan? Like, is it a breakfast, lunch, dinner? Like, what do you got in plan for everybody?
So it's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I've got the meal plan right here, actually. So just to give you kind of like a little insight, I've got an awesome blueberry pancake on there that's killer. I've got a breakfast sandwich on there that is 300 calories and like 7 carbs. So I'm going to teach you how to make bread. I'm going to teach you how to make a protein bread that's made from eggs and yogurt. That's the only 2 ingredients: egg, yogurt. It's the technique that allows you to make bread that you can stick between turkey, lettuce, anything you want, and create this like super high protein, very low carb, lunch. That's just awesome. It's called cloud bread. If you Google cloud bread, there's a million articles, a million things out there on how to do it. I found a good way to do it with yogurt that's super simple, that's not complicated. I'll make a batch for the week. I'll fill a sheet tray with a bunch of dollops and make it. And, I'll have 12 sandwiches ready to go, and I'll have it in the fridge, and what's actually funny about the recipe, the longer it sits in the fridge, the more it tastes like bread, because the bread itself absorbs the moisture in the fridge and actually has texture of bread, because it's the fluffy egg that actually creates it. So we've got breakfast tacos. We've got savory sausage and broccolini crepes. I try to go all over the spectrum from a lot of different styles of cooking. You know, I'm French trained myself, but I love Italian. I love tacos. I just love food. So, you know, I try to hit a lot of different notes on these recipes that are going to keep you engaged. And
That's
it's like,
awesome.
hey, it's taco night. Hey, it's Italian night. We're making pasta. Where the hell can I get a shirataki noodle? You know what I mean? Sprouts, or, you know, you get it off the internet. I mean, Amazon's amazing. But all
down Sprouts.
Super accessible.
Sprouts is my favorite place to shop down there. 1,000%.
100%. And you can for sure get a shirataki noodle.
Oh yeah. Coach Brian, do you Coach Brian is also one of our captains, but he's a big football coach and went to school with us too at Notre Dame. Coach Brian, you got a question for the chef? Maybe he lost us.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hi, Chef.
How you doing, boss?
Good, man. You?
Good. I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Good. I was wondering about what kind of sauces to put on top of the vegetables. Are there any healthy sauces?
Sauces to put on top of the vegetables. So a lot of what I do is actually use other vegetables to season other things. So it's great for salads. It's great for other vegetables. So you kind of pick something that's going to be sweet, or it's going to have a lot of umami to it. And I will either puree, you know, something like roasted cauliflower has got a lot of umami. Something like parsnips has got a lot of sugars. So I will roast, or I will blanch. So if you roast something and you're kind of creating that char, burning is not necessarily a bad thing. What you're doing is you're caramelizing those sugars, and you're creating what we call in the food world umami. Once you then puree that, I use that to dress my salads. I use that as sauces with my steak. I pull out all those high sugar other ingredients that a lot of people use to dress other things, and I make vegetable purees and sauces to season other stuff. So those are great examples. Even potatoes. Now, all carbs are not the enemy. You are allowed some. As far as I'm concerned, for a lot of the meal plans I do, you know, a sweet potato puree is a great starch indulgence that you can have a little bit of. That's a great dipping sauce. You know, I use things like chili and jalapeno, and I use like you know, Mexican based or Spanish based ingredients to add huge flavor bombs to vegetables to create something completely different. You know, if I want to make a dipping sauce, for example, for, let's just call it carrots. What I would do if I wanted something sweet, I'd use parsnips and chili, and I'd use a little Chinese 5-spice to kind of give it that sweet kind of fun flavor. And if I wanted something a little more on the umami side, like I said, I would use cauliflower. We've got asparagus. I mean, think of anything that grows underground to be a very either a sweet-based kind of vegetable. Beets, carrots, parsnips, anything above ground on how it grows naturally is going to be a little more on the umami side. So roasting those things, throwing in our VitaPrep and mixing those, I think is going to be a great asset for a dipping sauce. And that's how I actually add flavor to a lot of other ingredients to kind of still stay in that healthy range, but cut out the fats of using olive oils, cut out the fats using butters and dairies. I think vegetable purees are easy. 100%.
Awesome, man. That's wicked, Brian. I mean, these are all my brothers that I went to school with, and they went to the same school. And, you know, like me, boys, they're bigger right now. And so they started on one of the Plexus programs. Well, the Plexus program I started on is called the Renew You. So we shake, we do a protein shake, the lean shake and breakfast, lean shake. For lunch, we have normal supper, nice healthy supper. We do mid-morning snack, afternoon snack. We have the Active, which is the lifestyle energy drink that we sip on all day, which bar none, that's my favorite product to be sipping on all day. And, you know, sincerely, Chef, like for your time, and I know we're almost going on an hour here, and you know, from the head coach of this ONETEAM, man, like I am like honored and so grateful that you actually, we see your passion. What you're going to bring to the table for our Plexus family is just going to absolutely blow everybody away. We can share this knowledge with everybody now that is, you know, part of this journey with us, in this health and wellness journey. And, you know, when I come down to Scottsdale there in the next couple of weeks, I'm coming down there. Coach Mike is, I'd love to take you and your wife out, maybe to Loon or Buck and Ryder or Tonto, some of my favorite restaurants, you know, and I would love to spend an evening, you know, with the chef, because you're an amazing guy and your passion is just off the charts. And ONETEAM, is there any other questions? Let's give one more question here before Zoom kicks us out. Does anybody have one question, and not from my captains? Does anybody out there that's not a captain, do you have a question that you'd like answered right now? Go ahead.
I've got a couple of chat questions just here in the list. I mean, I'll run through this, like it'll take 2 seconds, but you know, Bridget Graff says, I can't eat anything green, going to have to work around that. You know, if you can't have anything green, that's fine. That's a lot of lettuces. A lot of lettuces are kind of empty calorie things, but they are kind of fillers that aren't bad for you. So depending on what you're working with, you know, we can substitute other good ingredients, and by charring or, you know, kind of adding a little bit more heat to a vegetable, really you're just trying to get something that is kind of like got a good texture to it. That's why we have a lot of greens. You know, it's got a good moisture content. It's a filler, and it's something kind of to chew on. So, you know, there's a bunch of different other ingredients, and it, you know, I'll share my email in the stream with the team. And if you have a question, just feel free to shoot out and I'll answer that for you. Also allergic to mushrooms. You know what? Mushrooms is fine. If you can't have that, or green things and mushrooms in general, there's still a million other different. Squash is probably going to be your best bet. I'll do a little comment on how to best prepare some great squashes that will replace any kind of green thing you can think of, whether it's a dried squash, or a braised squash, or a boiled squash. I think that's a great one. Celiacs and gluten-free stuff. That's the one thing that pretty much with this meal plan I've done is I can't use flour. I can't use a lot of those things. So I pretty much kept most dairy and most gluten out of these recipes because, well, A, they're super fatty, and B, they're super high carb. So working backwards, taking all those kind of base ingredients out is really how I built a lot of these meals. So I think you're going to be okay. Marianne asked, saying she'll use huckleberries instead of blueberries. I love huckleberries anyway. I'll be your huckleberry. I think that's a great idea. They tend to be a little expensive though, and they're a little seasonal. So if you can't use a blueberry,
where they
say that again?
Lots of huckleberries down where they live.
Yeah, lots of huckleberries down where they live. Well, in that case, I can't get them here without spending $50 a pound. Wow. But yeah, you know what? Then in lieu of the blueberries, let's see. Raisins are great. Raisins are easy. What's another great one? Yeah, I'd go with raisins, 110% in lieu of a blueberry. But yeah, anybody got any other questions?
I think, you know what, I mean, you've been awesome, absolutely awesome. And you know what, to be honest, I mean, I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait for you to be introduced to the Plexus family throughout North America. We're so pumped about this program to go into this new year, and you know, our team here has got a great vision moving forward. And I mean, what we're doing, when we started this, it was a lot of guys. I mean, Plexus is probably 99% women. And, you know, I started bringing all my old sport buddies with me, you know, up momentum. And a lot of my sisters saw what we were doing, and we shared bravely, we shared boldly on social media, gain momentum. And then when we were introduced to your program, at this program that you're part of, moving forward, the first week of December, all this stuff came out. And, you know, I did, just like you did your research on me, I did my research on you. And you know what? I mean, everything happens for a reason. There's no coincidences that, you know, my permanent residency will be Scottsdale next June. You know, I work out at Mountainside, connection to Mountainside, and now your connection with Plexus. I mean, you know, Chef, I'm pretty sure that there's something, the reason why we've come together, and the big guy will probably figure that out in the future. We know the vision of our group here where we're headed, and I love the vision that you've got for the food doctors, and just for the people that are online here. And I'll blow you up, you know, for doing this. I'll blow you up on all of our stuff. Fooddoctors.com, am I correct?
Yep, that's fact check. That's
it. You know what? Do you have one last comment for my team? I don't want to keep you away from your family, and, you know, blessed, honored.
No, quite all right. My wife's a first responder. She's in the hospital dealing with COVID today. She's been since this thing started. So she's at work. You know, for anybody that, once you guys dive into these recipes, I want you to know that, listen, doing anything new in the first time, you're probably going to mess it up. Anything I've done, the first go around, it was a learning experience, and I'm like, aha. But the important thing is that we have that aha moment. The important thing is we kind of see the philosophy behind it. We kind of see, you know, what's going on with the food. Okay, we're observant, what we smell, what we see, what we taste. You know, I've got some great directions and a pretty solid base for you guys to produce some really cool stuff. But I mean, my channels are open. You know, I did these recipes and I put this stuff together to kind of, you know, start the dialogue. And if anybody has any questions, like, Chris, I keep messing up the pancakes, what am I doing wrong? Send me an email, reach out, you know, let's talk about it. I feel good about people having that self-discovery with food, and then be like, oh yeah, that's great. See, I'm like, see, I told you. That's fun, right? That's great for me. So as you kind of go through your journey, if there's something you're having a troubled time with, if you have a question, just ask, because that's going to be the motivating factor for you, is having the right tools to do the job. I'm offering the tool. Whatever you guys need, I'm here. Let's do it together, and we'll figure it out. It's a simple equation. I do this, I do this, I do this. More things will start coming, and then you'll have more and more options, and then you won't need it anymore. Then you won't need me. You won't need the recipes. You'll be off and running and creating your own things, and you'll be self-sufficient. And that's the idea. That is our goal, is to become completely self-sufficient when you're doing things that are good for yourself. And if that's even just a motivating factor, like, I keep burning this. Okay, well, we'll get through it together. What are you doing? Okay, don't do that. Do this. Show it to me. Okay, yep. That's, just throw that away. Let's start over. We'll do it together. And I pledge that. So if you have questions or concerns, just reach out, and we'll figure it out. We're going to feel good.
Chef, you share your email there, and I'll make sure my 6 team captains have that email. And you know what? No different than you. I mean, I built my businesses from communicating and always, and you know, sharing, loving, and growing is our whole philosophy of Plexus. And we see the genuine qualities that you have, and the passion you have to food. We're excited. I mean, you know what? Like, this hour that you spent with us, like, I am pumped, absolutely pumped, because my I know from experience, and I consider myself a decent chef in the kitchen, but not when it comes to cooking healthy. you know, and so my food's got a little bit bland.
I know it's scary. It's a scary thing because you just start dumping stuff all over it. It's technique, and that's the problem. People have forgotten how to cook because of convenience. It's too easy to go down to the store and buy a box of this, go across the street to this fast food place, go to a restaurant, spend way more money than you need to. We've forgotten the basic fundamentals of I got to go kill it and I got to cook it. I got to feed my family. Like that old school hunter-gatherer thing. Like, listen, in a wildlife scenario, if, you know, it's me and a group of people, you better be on my good side because, like, I'm going to be running the show in about 15 minutes once I got dinner set because I'm out foraging, figuring this out. I mean, I'm here for you. We'll do it together. It's not hard. It's going to be fun. And that's really the kind of mindset you got to kind of tackle it with. It's a self-discovery adventure kind of thing. And it's like, okay, if we break a couple eggs, we're going to break a couple eggs. We'll just make them scrambled instead. No over easy today. No big deal. But I'm going to show you how to make the perfect scrambled egg. And you just got to remember, it's just food. But it's the fuel you put in your body, and it's how you feel good. It's how you start your day. It's how you run. You are a machine. And unless you put the right fuel in the machine, it's going to run good or it's not. And you definitely feel it. I don't know if anybody that hasn't gone out for a night of drinking or anything like that, or, you know, when they were younger, and how do you feel the next day? You feel like crap. What'd you do? Okay. It's the same thing when you're eating nothing but vegetables and putting the right fuel in your body. You're like, holy crap, I have a lot of energy. I feel really good. Anybody want to go climb a mountain or something? Like, yeah, you want to go jogging? Like, that guy becomes annoying. But you know what? That's okay, because that guy feels great. And anything I can do to help you guys, you know, achieve your goals, shoot me the question. If you're trying a recipe, or, you know, you're like, hey, can we set up, you got 5 minutes for a Zoom call so I can figure out what I'm doing wrong to this thing? I'm like, yeah, my computer's mobile. I'll go down to my kitchen and be like, show it to me. Yeah, no, don't do that. And that's kind of why I'm doing this. As you've probably seen from our Zoom conversation, I'm a nerd about food. I love the science behind it, the craft of it. I've spent my life, I mean, I'm not that old. I'm 38, but I've spent, you know, 20 some years figuring out the craft and the science behind it. And I'm just a complete nerd. So, I mean, we'll do it together, and I'll take the 5 minutes to help if you've got it. If you ask the question and are, you know, passionate behind it, be like, man, I just want to do this right. What should I do? Yeah, let's do it, bud. That sounds fun. And my wife and everybody in my family is, you know, 100% on board, you know, supporting just positivity and wellness, my friends. So thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Chef Christopher Schlattman, fooddoctors.com. You rocked it, man. I literally got goosebumps from you inspiring us, and you know, from our captains and head coach Mike here, from our ONETEAM and our Plexus family. Buddy, from the bottom of my heart, love you. What you're going to offer this Plexus family, it's going to be absolutely amazing. January, you're going to help so many people, and thank you for doing this for our team, and thank you for doing this for our Plexus family. And buddy, I look forward to meeting you, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can actually go out and enjoy that steak together and maybe have a pop together. Okay.
Hey, I love it.
You know, like, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to your family, and thank you for your time. I'll make sure that we get your email, and I'll forward it to my captains. And you know what? We are so fortunate to have you on board, and I love that you are a food nerd, and we're gonna blow you up. I'm gonna call you that food nerd, that you've been studying food for 20 years. And I love it. I'm gonna promote the crap out of you, man, because you know what? You're genuine. You love what you're doing. You're passionate, and you're gonna help so many of us. So from Coach Mike and my captains here, love you, buddy. Awesome.
Hey, thank you so much. And you know, that's really what it's about. I hope the recipes help. You know, I got some videos that we've done for Plexus to help with some of the recipes, so you can tune into and really kind of see the step-by-step. if there's something I missed, listen, I'm not a Food Network star by any means, but if there's something I miss, or if it's not quite right for you, or if there's some step you're just not grasping, please reach out and I'll give you a hand. And that's my commitment to this Plexus meal plan. We're going to do it together.
Perfect. From Coach Mike from Winnipeg, Canada. There's our Slim. Cheers. Plexus style.
Cheers to that.
Rocket, buddy. And you know what? We can't wait for January 4th. And I'll reach out to you when I get down to Scottsdale the next couple of weeks. And we'll communicate. You know, I'll get your email, I'll throw it into the chat, and I'll make sure my captains get it. And this group of Plexus, we're one team. That's what we are. We're one team, one family. And, you know, we're changing one person's life at a time through health. And I love your passion. And you know what? Thank you. I mean, you blew us away tonight. So thank you for your time, and have a good night. And love you, buddy.
Of course. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening.